Yes, I love the fact that it's completely pitch dark outside, but I have my new light that makes it look like it's very bright in here. So today was a terrible day. Well, terrible is not the word. Hold on. I just got in. If you've watched some of the other videos, you would see that I've been at home for the past 3 days because I go to bed late and I wake up late and it's too late for me to go to the gym, so I work out here and I do my stuff. On the second day, on Tuesday, I was getting itchy, but then on the third day when I realized it wasn't going to happen, I just stayed home. But today I had to wake up early at 5 o'clock so I can go do my stuff and go train my client and then go to the gym, and then I have a group meeting today. It's only for 8 weeks. I've had it before. This is another 8 weeks for gay men, and it's called self-affirmation. You know, the first one was self-esteem, now it's like affirming yourself. And I realized that my mood affects my decisions and my, let me put on the air conditioning. And if I'm able to talk positively about myself or talk about myself at all. And the fact that I didn't have a lot of sleep, I actually was late to the group because I fell asleep. And then I left a little late and I got there like 20 minutes late. But my goal was to be there each week. Last week I was good, and this week I wasn't. Extremely tired. And then it snowballed from there. We were writing this test, and first of all it's in French. So there's some vocabulary that I didn't understand, but a lot of it was, I just don't have an answer. It was yes or no. It was to find out what you are. Are you manipulative? Are you passive? Are you aggressive? Or are you assertive? And so I had like half of the questions, actually 31 on 60, which I couldn't complete. So then the guy comes, the leader of the group, and so he's going through a few of them. He only went through 3. So I couldn't come up with the tabulation on what personality trait I have, you know. Doesn't matter in the long scheme of things because I'm dealing with my psychologist tomorrow. This would be something to tell him. So, maybe you could relate to this. By then, after that, once I realized, okay, it's a group. Obviously I'm being very passive because he was explaining passivity. I didn't assert myself, and you know, I just kind of wanted to be invisible in the group. So I didn't finish the test, and it just kept going. And so my emotions just kept rising. And so then I kind of went in my head. However, I managed to get myself out of the funk, whereas usually it would be the whole time. And I managed to get myself to a better state for a short period of time. So I was actually happy for that. You know, because when you're going through that, feelings of abandonment, not being listened to, rejection, all the above. On top of not knowing who I am because I couldn't answer the questions, I needed more time. That's why I work for myself, or try to now. And that's why I'm isolated, that's why I can't deal with people. So, are we still on? We're still on. So then we had to do some combining with other people where we talk about stuff and come up with an answer. I'm not going into many details. So I was kind of a little present for that. I had to play the game. Which is what I did the last time we had the group. You know, I just go because I need to get myself out and I need to interact with people. That's it. I'm not going to learn any of that stuff because it's not directed towards me, personally. and I'm kind of so far excluded by the mere fact of where my headspace is. It doesn't even help, you know. So so then we had to write what our little team thing was. It's for objectives for the group, and then they were voting which ones were to be good, which ones weren't to be good, whatever. So that kind of escalated, and then all the people with the big egos started debating and objecting and all that, and it became something in itself. It kind of went like, I had this happen on my Instagram where I posted something and someone didn't like it, and then people were just saying negative stuff, and I'm like, do I say anything? And then it just kind of combusted on its own, and they were like in their own little world, and I'm like, I don't even have to say anything, it's just happening on its own, whatever. So just kind of like not do anything, but that affected me. And this was the same thing kind of in person. I'm realizing, okay, I'm in the room, but I can be invisible. I kind of dissociate completely. I was like, there's no place for me here. None. I'm just here to come to the group. That's it. At least body-wise. So then at the end, they're like, you know, you give a little resume of what you learned and what you're proud of and all that stuff. And when I'm in this mood, I don't have anything that I'm proud of. But I was able to say what I learned, and I was playing invisible. Like, you know when you're in grade 6 years old, or in elementary school, and you just don't look at the teacher and hoping that they're going to ignore you? That's kind of like it is. And it worked for a bit. Then I was the last one, and then he asked me what I learned. And I told him what I learned, and I learned that to dissociate completely from the group is a very good defense mechanism for me, and it works very well. And I was able to manage to retain about 10 minutes of the 2.5 hours of what was going on. And I was happy that I was able to bring myself back to a good mental state after the first part of the class, when emotions were going up really high. So I left it like that, and it was completely, it was like I realized I didn't fit in anywhere. But then again, I realized it also goes with my mood. I'm tired, and it just like all snowballed from there. So, and that's it, and the class was finished, and I got up and I left. Silently. And then I'm in the streets, and then this guy's like, hey. I'm like, and it ends up being the guy who was in the group the last session. What happened was, there was this guy, and he got too close to me. He invited me to his place because he wanted to talk, that he felt like we had something in common in terms of emotional issues and stuff, and bad shit having happened. And I did the mistake by going to his place, and then he was professing his love to me, and I'm like, this is... So then it went downhill from there. But then I got over it, you know, and he I don't know how he didn't get over it, but then he finally came, and at the last tail end of the last group. So I mean, I don't have anything against the guy. So once I realized who it was, because I thought it was Grizzly Adams, I'm like, who's this bum looking at me? Because he looked like a bum. And I said, you're not in the group? Because he didn't come back to the next group. And he's like, there's a group? I'm like, yeah. So he doesn't check his email, doesn't do anything. I'm like, ugh. So I said, go see the guy. I just left now. Go see him. Get yourself in the group. And that was it. And then he left on his little Bixie bike, which you know, the rent-a-bikes. And he said, oh, I'm watching you on YouTube. Okay. So that's it. So I've been in a stupor on the way home, and I decided to talk to the camera. I don't have to wait till daytime. and I don't have to use a small light. I got bright light. Let me see if it gets. Let me see. Maybe it's too bright. I don't know. So that's it. I'm going to bring this up with my psychologist tomorrow. And I'm going to have a smoothie. And then I'm going to get ready for bed. Sorry.